Welcome to the Worst of the Riot podcast. Coming up, Wendy's has decided to bow to the internet backlash.
We also talk about things we'll never do again and more on the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Do you remember your first memory?
I do not.
You don't have a first memory?
Not that I can think of.
You have to have a first memory.
You're talking about the oldest thing I remember.
Yeah, what's the oldest thing?
Got it. I thought you meant the first thing that I could remember.
What is the first thing that you could remember? Aren't they this? Wouldn't that be the same thing?
No, like when I was 5 years old, could I remember my phone number or my address?
Oh, got it. Not memorize.
Got it. My oldest memory.
Yeah, what's your first memory?
My oldest memory. I can't be sure. I think it's a traumatic experience when I was 5 years old. I can't be sure.
Oh, okay.
It's a hard thing to remember.
It is. Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's hard to remember, then I guess it's not a first memory.
My first memory right now is waking up this morning.
Yeah. The first thing. I was thinking about this maybe while I share my first two memories, and maybe
give me an opportunity to think of one.
To think of your memories.
That's a good plan.
My first memory, I'm pretty sure, is, and I know this has to be like the first because it was in New Jersey, and we moved away from New Jersey when I was 4 years old or so. And so I was less than 4 years old, which is crazy because what I remember is my first sleepover. Sleeping over at somebody else's house when I was less than 4 years old. That's a crazy age to have a sleepover. And needless to say, it didn't go well. And so that is the first thing that comes to mind. The first thing that I kind of remember is sleeping over at a friend's house at 4 years old or younger. And then the friend, his dad is a pastor. I was freaking out in the middle of the night because I'd never slept over anywhere before, and I was 4 years old. And the parents were like, "Come on, the pastor has to work in the morning. You can't be making this noise." And then they put on a movie, and that calmed me down. That was my first memory. My second memory, also very young, is I won an alien at a carnival game. But I don't remember winning the alien at the carnival game. What I do remember is where it was wearing a jersey, number 23. Michael Jordan. Of course. It wasn't LeBron at that. It was Michael Jordan. And some kid at church, I brought it to church for some reason. And some kid asked me, he said, "How'd you get that?" And I said, "I won at a carnival game." This is the memory. "I won at a carnival game." "What did you name it?" "Michael Jordan." He says, "That makes sense because it's Michael Jordan's number." Those are my first two memories.
Good memories.
Yeah. Why are those the things? Much more important things had to have happened to me at 4 years old, but that's what I remember.
If I had to think back to my first memory, I believe it was my younger brother was born.
You remember that?
I do. Well, you're 4 years apart, so I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I've always thought of this as kind of a fever dream.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if this is real, but I remember it, and I've always remembered it.
Yeah.
I was sitting in front of the TV, and my mom wasn't home.
Okay.
Clearly.
Yeah. She was busy.
I was with my older brother and myself, and I know my dad wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was real or not. I'm not sure if this is even what happened.
Okay.
But I was sitting there when Jaden, my younger brother, was being born.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if it's a real thought or not. But that's what I've always been, my earliest memory was Jaden being born, but I'm not sure if it's real or not.
So what you think you remember is being home alone with your older brother,
sitting in front of a TV.
Watching TV.
That's what I remember.
That's your first memory.
It's my very first memory.
Wow.
But I'm not sure if it's real. My mom could call me today and be like, "Actually, when Jaden was born, you were staying at your Aunt Kathy's house."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be shocked. But in my mind.
That means otherwise your first memory is just you watching TV.
Yes.
And there was nothing even significant about it.
And that could have been a dream. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. It probably explains a lot of our psychology. Somebody can probably really analyze this. Useless knowledge coming up next.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
We're in the midst of useless knowledge. Isaiah has your question of the day.
Sliced strips of toast, many times with French toast, but they also do it for regular toast as well, to dip into boiled eggs over easy eggs, have a certain name. What is that name?
I think this one's obvious. And I think there's a snack, a very popular snack that shares its name. Dunkaroos.
A good guess. The real answer, soldiers.
Really?
Like little soldiers.
Uh-huh.
So you line up your soldiers, dip them in whatever you want. I kind of like that name, though.
Soldiers and eggs, huh?
Let's do some rapid fire. Back in the day, bread was oftentimes used as what to the gods?
Sacrifice?
A sacrifice. An offering.
Oh,
An offering to the gods.
Another
They
way to put it, yes.
They liked bread. How about this one? The top spreads for toast. We've got butter at number 1.
Of course.
We've got jam or jelly at number 2.
Yeah.
What comes in at number 3?
Honey.
No! No! The answer I was looking for was peanut butter.
Ooh, good
Honey
choice.
was at 4, followed by Nutella at 5.
Wow.
What about the most popular toast movie of all times? Actually, series. The main character, Deanna Oliver. The co-star, Timothy Stack. He played Lampy.
Oh, the Brave Little Toaster.
Correct. Lampy,
Yeah.
Blanky, Radio. I mean, you got to think, what a series when those are the names of the main characters.
Have you ever seen the Brave Little Toaster
Yeah,
movies?
I've seen all of them.
I love those movies.
You get it right away.
Surprisingly depressing for children's fare, but I guess it was like the 80s. So
Good movies, though.
Yeah, they are. Useless knowledge. All about toast today. We've learned a lot.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the Riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
You know, National Snack Day coming up March 4th. That's Monday. And to celebrate, a website called HubScore has already gone ahead. They do this every year, and they've determined America's favorite snacks as we head towards National Snack Day. This year, there's a new number 1, and it is a shocker. The number 1 most popular snack in America, according to HubScore, Rice Krispie Treats.
Good snack. It's a great snack.
Rice Krispie Treats are, delicious. Absolutely delicious. And they are one of those things where the store is like a lot of times homemade stuff is better than the store. I feel like Rice Krispie Treats from the store are actually better than any individual can make at home.
No way.
Yeah.
The homemade Rice Krispies are amazing.
They're good. They're hit or miss, though. Have you ever had bad?
I've had bad ones.
Yeah.
But like your mom's, they got to be they're so good. They're so marshmallowy.
I think the store.
Your mom's, I guess, aren't. Huh?
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Just throw her under the bus.
Yeah.
My mom's are incredible. When she used to make Rice Krispie treats,
Yeah.
she used to make them for like every gathering I had as a
Yeah.
kid.
They're
Like,
so
if I had
easy to bring to potlucks and
if I had a
parties and
birthday
stuff.
party, Rice Krispie treats are there. If we had like a tailgate, Rice Krispie treats are there. Those were so good. I haven't had those in forever. Homemade
That's what
Rice
I was going to
Krispie
say.
treats.
How long do you think it's been since you had a Rice Krispie
Yeah.
treat?
I mean, I eat Rice Krispie treats all the time. I have some in the break room right now.
No chance.
Yeah, I have them up in the cabinet. I eat them before going to the gym
Uh-huh.
for a little sugar boost.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I have the little mini ones, and they're pretty low in calories, so they're a good little pre-workout snack.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so but I haven't had like homemade ones. Every now and then, there's some will pop up into here.
Yeah.
The people have made different forms of Rice Krispie treats, but like my mom's or my aunts, they both make really good ones.
Mhm.
I haven't had those ones in a while.
Yeah.
They need to make those again.
The truth is, this is a reminder that it's been too long for many of us, and myself and you included, since we've had a Rice Krispie treat, especially a homemade one. It overtook on HubScore's ranking of America's favorite snacks. It overtook the previous number 1, which was Doritos, just generically Doritos, not a specific flavor. Other snacks that came in near the top here were Cheetos was a clear third, and then Chex Mix, also very popular, and Lay's chips were in there as well, some of those popular snacks. Now, you might be wondering, how did they determine this? And I think how they determined it is the key to how Rice Krispie Treats made it to number one, because how they determined it was by Google searches. But if you look at these snacks, Rice Krispie Treat has a decided advantage, because people could search Rice Krispie Treat and either be looking for the ones you buy at the store or a recipe. People don't do that for Doritos and Cheetos. And so I think that gives Rice Krispie Treats the edge when you're going by these metrics.
Same thing with Chex Mix.
Right. Probably a little artificially boosted, although still a good snack in its own right, for sure.
Yeah, I would say a little boost to the Rice Krispie Treats. Makes sense.
Yeah, but
I love them, so I'm for them being at number one. That works for me.
I have a hard time saying that I wouldn't take a Rice Krispie Treat over a bag of Doritos if you gave me the choice of just like eat as much as you want of either one. I might choose Rice Krispie Treats.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
If it's a homemade one, I'll take the Rice Krispie Treats. If it's a little baggy one, really hard choice, I might lean Dorito.
Yeah, it is a tough call. Initially, when I saw this, I kind of scoffed. I was like, that can't be true. But then it's like, you know what? It might be better than Doritos. Not better than Cheetos, though. You know me.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Why does the Stanley Cup craze continue on? Because of things like this. Not only can a Stanley Cup, as we've seen, withstand a car fire and still keep the water and ice cubes inside intact. Now we have a woman on TikTok sharing that her Stanley Cup was bulletproof. The caption for the video is literally POV. My Stanley Cup saves my life when there's a shootout in front of my house. She claims that, and she shows the bullet holes in the walls in her house. Some people, I guess, got into an argument. Shots were fired. She took cover. Some of her perfume bottles didn't fare so well. However, she was unharmed, and her Stanley Cup hit by a bullet. It did leave a mark, but the Stanley Cup's still intact.
Well, you got to think here, she should be getting money from Stanley forever. After posting this TikTok.
Yeah. This is different. You can't, if you have a car fire, the Stanley Cup isn't going to save your life. It's just, at least I'll have my Stanley Cup when everything else is burned to the ground. But this, now you know, if you're carrying a Stanley Cup around, you are safe if anything ever goes down. If there's ever a shootout, you're covered. Just get behind the Stanley Cup.
And you got to think, if you're on a walk, you need the Stanley in hand.
Yeah.
It's doubles as protection.
Yep.
And possibly a weapon.
That's right. If it's hard enough to withstand a bullet, then you got to think you could knock somebody in the head pretty good with that thing. You think about people in the last few days, stories going around about people renting out their Stanley Cup for photo shoots. It wasn't so it could be in the pictures. It was in case you get shot while you're taking pictures, while you're at the mall. This is unbelievable. Now, do you think there's any shot that this is all that she wasn't actually shot?
Oh, you mean
could it be fake?
A fake?
Could it be a dupe?
I'm going to lean no. I think it's real.
Yeah. I hope it's real. I hope, because then all the Stanley Cup, all of the hubbub around it, at least it's justified, you know? That's all. If something's going to be popular, I want it to be for a good reason. This is a good reason. These cups are indestructible. And
you got to think, too, if you're the person who has, because people are commenting, like the handle of my Stanley fell off when I dropped it. If you're that gal, you got to be looking for a refund.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that's without question that you shouldn't settle. If the Stanley Cup is meant to be able to withstand bullets and fire, you can't settle for anything less. You should fire a gun at that thing the first day you get it just to make sure. Otherwise, probably counterfeit.
Return it.
Yeah.
It's not a real one.
There's never been a can of worms they didn't open. The Riot, Radio U.
It's time for Love 'em or Leave 'em on the Riot. You guys text in 8772 Radio U and decide whether this couple should be loved or left. We help you navigate the windy turnpike of love. And this one is a husband and wife duo, and it all revolves around a birthday, which can be a very stressful time.
Yeah, it's high pressure when it comes to the birthdays when you're a guy.
How much effort to put in? This man chose none. This is the setup here. They've been married for, I think, like 10 years.
Okay.
And this is the breakdown.
This must be a bad one then.
This is a bad one. They have a reservation for a table at a nice restaurant at 7 p.m. for her birthday plans.
It's a late dinner.
She's been looking forward to this birthday. It takes about 20 minutes to drive to the restaurant. So she said, I plan to leave the house at 6:30 to build in time for traffic and picking up my father.
We've got a planner.
She said that her husband decided to do a bit of work on his car about a half an hour before we needed to leave. And then 6:30 rolls around. The kids and I are waiting at the door. He was still working on the car. He hadn't changed. He hadn't showered. She said she told him to quickly get ready, but it got to 6:50 and he still wasn't ready yet. Was he doing a full makeup routine?
Yeah.
So she
So
decided.
he got dirty from the car.
Yep. So she decided to just leave without him. She said he's always kind of running late,
Yeah.
but she felt that 6:50, 10 minutes before the reservation,
Yeah.
way too late.
On her birthday.
She said she yelled out that they were leaving, and they left. That way they didn't lose the table. Picked up her dad. They got to the restaurant at about 7:20 p.m., called the restaurant on the way. Luckily, they were able to keep the table for them.
So what happened to the husband?
Never showed up.
No, he didn't even come?
Didn't come, and when she got home, he was mad at her.
He was mad at her.
She told
For
him...
why?
She told him that she was tired of him not respecting her time and always making people wait for him, and that he could have made his own way to the restaurant. This is egregious.
Once she left out the door, he was just like, I'm off the hook, it sounds like.
Gets it right back to the car.
Yeah.
I better get this alternator fixed up.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's open the hood back up again.
So he was mad at her.
Mad at her when she got home.
That's outrageous.
So she's now looking for advice
Uh-huh.
on how to deal with her husband's lateness.
All right. Well, let's get it. 8772 Radio U. Help out with some love advice, some marriage advice today on Love 'em or Leave 'em here on the Riot. We'll see what some people are saying. Coming up next.
Add a little Riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
We're in the midst of Love 'em or Leave 'em. Isaiah, what is the abbreviated version of today's scenario?
A wife was scheduling a birthday party for herself, planned out a dinner, wanted to leave by 6:30. Her husband was working on his car at 6 o'clock. 6:30 rolls around. He's still working on the car. She asked him, please start getting ready. He was not ready at 6:50. Dinner's at 7. It's a 20-minute drive. She needs to pick up her dad on the way. So she left with the kids without him because he was taking too long. He didn't come to the birthday dinner at all because he was mad that he was left behind.
Philip says wife was in the right. I think that's clear, even though the husband was upset for some reason. Dave simply says, leave him. Yep. People love to leave them. They love to leave them. Rachel says, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you leave them.
You left.
You're left. Not a lot of sympathy for the husband. I feel like there is some information we don't know. I feel like there is a path to giving the husband some benefit of the doubt. You think if he was working on the car,
don't even try.
No,
it.
if he was working on
Here
the
we
car
go.
and that was going to be his mode of transportation, And the car, he started and started some work he couldn't finish, and now the car unavailable. How's he going to get there now that the wife has left? But one, that's poor planning on his part. First of all, to take up a project that could leave you in that scenario in the first place, right before the birthday dinner. Two,
You got to think that if she's upset with him,
yeah,
there's no way that the car wasn't able to
was
ride.
immobile.
Yeah.
But you
Because
know,
why would she be so shocked that he couldn't make it to dinner?
yeah. Well, for him too, you still on your wife's birthday, you gotta. If that's the case, you Uber. You figure out something. You call a friend that comes and picks you up and drives you there. You need to do something because you can't be missing this when it's obviously it was clearly important to your wife. Like a lot of the paths to giving him the benefit of the doubt still raise a massive red flag. Maybe he started the work on the car because he forgot it was her birthday or forgot it was her birthday dinner. Big red flag. And then she comes home and he's mad at her for some reason, which is still that part unclear. What he even has to be mad about. He was left behind. You were left behind because you weren't ready.
Yeah, and she said that he has a habit of always running late.
Yeah.
And being the last one ready.
She was clearly patient with him in the first place, it seems.
And she gave him the heads up of like, he started working on the car at 6.
Yeah.
And then 6:30 rolls around and she's like, you got to start getting ready. Like, she was planning on leaving at 6:30.
Uh-huh.
And so then for him not to be ready by 6:50, like, come on. 6:50?
Yeah.
You're a guy. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Even
if it's fancy.
Exactly. If it's a fancy restaurant, 20 minutes, you got to be ready.
Yep.
Like, if you told your girlfriend that she has to be ready in 20 minutes, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
If you tell your husband he needs to be ready in 20 minutes, you got to be ready in 20 minutes.
Even if he showers.
Yes.
He should be.
You're still ready.
Yeah.
So I think in this one here, unacceptable behavior. It's her birthday.
Yeah.
It's a birthday dinner that was planned out. She was really looking forward to it at a special restaurant that she got to pick out herself. You knew what time the dinner was.
Mm-hmm.
You got, like, of all days, I can understand for a lot of dinners.
Yeah.
Running behind. It's her birthday dinner. What are you doing?
He really wanted to work on the car.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Max says, 0 excuse. Laura says, sounds like my parents.
Maybe this is their story.
Seems like there needs to be a better understanding of each other on both sides. However, the wife is totally right.
Yeah.
Hannah says if he was still working on the car by 7, leave. But if she said if he was just getting ready to go, she should have waited.
That's that see, yeah, there's maybe little compromises she could have made along the way, but he was still being fairly unreasonable, it seems. Now, you've been married for years, you have kids, it sounds like. Can you divorce over this alone? No. If this was like your first major thing in a long time, hopefully just you guys can talk about it.
But he definitely shouldn't be mad at you.
No, yeah, he needs to apologize.
Yeah, he's in the wrong.
She better be getting
doubt.
a good gift from him.
Oh, a fantastic gift.
Yeah.
I wonder how dinner went that night. Did they get cake?
They had, yeah.
Did they do gifts?
I would have run up the bill if I was the wife to just stick it to him a little more.
Like, how bad is your birthday?
Yeah.
After you go to your birthday
And
dinner,
then
your
when-
husband doesn't come, and then you come home and he's mad at you on your
Yeah.
birthday?
He goes, "What's this charge on the credit card statement?" "Oh, you weren't there to keep me in check, so I went all out." Birthday dinner.
Hudson is the maple syrup, and Isaiah is the power protein flapjack. This is The Riot on Radio U.
I have a guy here in India. He ate 39 coins. This is a grown man, an adult, 26 years old. 39 coins.
Not
That's-
chocolate coins,
No, like actual like money,
like quarters,
real currency.
nickels,
Uh-huh.
dimes.
But that's not all he ate either. Not only did he eat 39 coins, he also ate 37 magnets.
See, magnets make more sense than coins.
Do they?
Yeah, because then you could become
Like
magnetic.
a superhero. Now you might think that, but magnets arguably worse because you know one of the famous things that magnets do, stick together.
True.
And so if you eat 37 magnets separately, they might start off separate, but once they get inside your stomach and your intestines, they start to
clump together.
Yes. And that's exactly what doctors found.
And the coins. Oh my gosh, the coins.
Yeah.
The coins are sticking to the magnets.
Uh-huh. And so exactly what doctors found when this guy came in complaining about some intestinal issues, they did an x-ray and they found, I'm looking at the x-ray right now, what seems to be 3 large accumulations of coins and magnets in this guy's intestines.
Oh, no.
They had to be surgically removed. And then,
why is he doing this? Why is he doing this?
It's a good question.
Why would anybody eat coins and magnets?
He was eating the coins because he's a bodybuilder.
Still doesn't make any sense.
He's a bodybuilder. Is this true that when you're a bodybuilder, zinc helpful with bodybuilding? Zinc is a metal.
You mean? I mean, I know zinc is a vitamin.
Yeah,
but you're not eating.
It's a helpful mineral.
You're not eating coins to get zinc. You can just take zinc.
That's what this guy was
doing. I take zinc every day.
He was eating coins.
No.
He was like that. The zinc in that pill, that's not enough. The zinc.
Just take a zinc tablet.
Cereal, breakfast cereal loaded with zinc. But he wasn't doing that. He was eating coins.
Well, I guess there's less calories in coins.
Yeah, that's right.
Cereal.
If your body can't digest them, there's 0. So he ate 39 coins, 37 magnets, and I'm looking at a picture of all of them laid out. And, well, I mean, I've seen some dirtier coins in my life, but you can also tell that some of these, it's clearly visible from some of these coins that they were in his intestines, to say the least.
Ugh.
Yeah. So the lesson learned here, don't eat coins.
I feel like we learned that lesson a long time ago.
Yeah, when we're 3 years old. When your mom said, don't put that in your mouth. Also, you tasted it and you're like, this doesn't taste good. But I don't know. This guy thought he found the secret, the key to building muscle was if you just simply eat coins. I don't know why nobody else is doing this. All you have to do is eat coins. The pounds, the muscles, they just grow. It doesn't work that way.
I will say, there's a lot more zinc in coins than there are in those pills.
Well, I should say so.
A ton more.
Yeah.
So in his mind, trying to go bodybuilding, I get what he's going for. Also, stupid.
Yeah.
You're not going to break down coins, brother.
Yeah.
It's not how your body works.
Uh-huh.
Bad idea.
Yeah. Lesson learned here. Just take some pills. Go to GNC.
You don't always have to agree with Isaiah to always disagree with Hudson. The Riot. Radio U.
It's time for our Thursday tradition. Choice Champions. Isaiah and I choose the choices. You decide which one of us comes up with a better team on today's topic and let us know which picks we miss. We're doing the snake draft style. Isaiah has the first pick, and the topic today, best food duos, food combos. Since earlier this week, we tried chicken and pizza together, the KFC Chizza. You can watch that on the RadioU RIOT Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't think that one's going to make this draft.
Yeah, probably not.
But we shall see. Isaiah, you have the first pick. Lead us off.
This is hard for me.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways I could go here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to lead off with what I feel like is a strong lead. And I'm going to go burger and fries.
Interesting. I could have some pushback against that. Just simply because sometimes you order burgers without fries. Sometimes there's better things. You know what I'm saying?
You can argue against mine.
Yeah.
But why don't you just go ahead and pick yours?
Yeah. I'll make my first pick, which is going to be Oreos and milk.
That's a good one.
For me, personally, the reason I put that at number 1 is you think about, like, some of these other combos are good, but Oreos and milk, fine on their own. I mean, Oreos is definitely very good on their own, but really, you can't have one without the other. It just doesn't feel right to drink milk, but not without having cookies in hand, or to eat Oreos without dipping them. So Oreos and milk is my number 1. Number 2, I have to
Oh, do
go.
I get a chance to rebuttal real quick?
Yeah.
I had that on my list, but I think you shortchanged yourself. Now,
Why do you say
fortunately, you
that?
can't change your answer. I had it down as milk and cookies. Continue.
It's instead of specifically Oreos.
Precisely. But you have Oreos and milk, and that's a
Yeah.
good choice.
Okay. But you can still pick milk and cookies if you want.
I can't.
I'm taking that with my number 2 choice. No, I'm going to go with my heart here and this one because I think this is the best to me. 2 things helping each other out, and that is biscuits and gravy.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy, that's a good choice.
Biscuits and gravy.
I like that one.
Yeah.
What a choice.
I didn't want to miss that one. Biscuits and gravy, one of my favorite dishes of all time. And I mean, the sausage gravy or some people go chip beef gravy, the peppermill. It is not, I mean, you can eat that on its own, but you put it on biscuits and it's a game changer. And biscuits, obviously, many ways to enjoy them, but none as good as with gravy.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I really like your choice, the biscuits and gravy there. I'm going to follow your choice up with grilled chicken, and pasta. I'm thinking chicken Alfredo. That's my duo, like a chicken pasta duo.
Always tasty.
I'm going chicken pasta, and then I'll wrap up. Oh, my goodness. I'm in between 2.
Yeah, likewise. Maybe you'll make my choice for me here.
I'll take the one that everybody's thinking.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do it. Even though I told myself I wasn't going to pick it, I'm going to go ahead and just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
I'm going to go PB&J. I've talked about how growing up, PB&J platter.
Yeah.
It's one of my go-tos.
It's so good.
One of my go-to snacks. I think on the duo list, somebody had to pick it. I'll go peanut butter and jelly.
This really would have been a big miss if we did this whole draft and no
Yep.
peanut butter and jelly. And that was one of the 2 I was choosing between. So that makes my choice for me with the final pick. I am taking macaroni and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese is a good choice.
So here we have our choice champions, best food duos. Isaiah, your team.
Burger and fries. I'm going chicken and pasta. And then I'm going PB&J.
And I have Oreos and milk, biscuits and gravy, and mac and cheese. 8772 Radio U. Let us know which one of us came up with a better team and which picks we missed. We'll find out what people are saying coming up next.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
Isaiah, the first pick today, your choice champions team is...
I've got a burger and fries. I have chicken and pasta. And I have PB&J.
And I have Oreos and milk, biscuits and gravy, and mac and cheese. The very first vote to come in from Emily, who did not vote for either of us, but she did vote for fries and a Frosty. You ever get down with that?
I like a Frosty, a Wendy's Frosty
Yeah.
with fries.
I actually prefer McDonald's fries and a milkshake and dipping those together because McDonald's has better fries.
Let me do one more.
Yeah.
Steak shake and milkshake.
Give
Give me them.
Steak
Give
and
me them.
shake.
Give me them shoelace. Those shoestring fries.
Yeah, I like those. Philip says it's Hudson and it's not remotely close. Sorry, Isaiah. Also, Philip says Isaiah for the win. Hudson trailing far in loser town, and saying we missed spaghetti and meatballs. These 2 Phillips could not be more opposite.
More different.
Spaghetti and meatballs. You consider that?
It was not one that I consider because I'm not a huge fan of spaghetti and meatballs, but I did think about it for a second.
I saw it.
I saw it too.
I contemplated, but then I was like, I don't think I like meatballs. When I eat spaghetti, I don't actually usually have meatballs with it.
It's a lot more work.
Yeah. Susanna says Isaiah for PB&J, and you 2 missed basically every non-boring food combo ever. We're
There's
not
a lot
gonna,
of them.
Yeah, there is, but we can't like do ones that only we've ever had, or so. Like I saw olive oil and ice cream. I'm not putting that on my list. Jason says all are excellent choices, but what tips the scale for me is PB&J. That was a staple of growing up. That's true. And then I think about it. It's like, when was the last time I had a PB&J? How long do you think it's been for you?
Not very long.
Oh, okay.
I make it pretty regularly, but that's because I'm still just a little boy.
You know what's funny is I have at home right now Goober, the PB&J.
No, you don't.
I do. It was on disc. It was like in the clearance section. You know we love to go to the clearance section at Kroger. Don't we, folks? And the goober was in there. It was like $2. I was like, this is the cheapest I've ever seen it. I'm going to get it.
The last time I had a PB&J was probably an Uncrustable, actually, which actually shows how childlike I can be.
J-Rod says, Hudson, he's got several bangers in. Sybil says, I have to go with Hudson today. Sorry, Isaiah. And you forgot beef and noodles. Beef and noodles.
Yeah, beef and noodles.
Like what noodles?
Whatever noodles you like. I went chicken and pasta. You could have went beef and noodles.
Yeah. My mom used to make beef stroganoff. That was pretty good. That's beef and noodles, right? Dave says, Isaiah for the win. Then he says, Hud Daddy would have won if he had coins and magnets.
Yes.
Dee says, Isaiah, she also pointed out one of the ones that was an honorable mention for me, chips and salsa.
I considered as well, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to do chips and salsa, chips and guac, or chips and queso.
Yeah.
So therefore, I had to leave it
agreed.
off.
Yeah. Trey says Isaiah takes the victory here for sure. He says spaghetti and garlic bread.
I love garlic bread.
Chips and dip also is one that he had pointed out. You have any other honorable mentions they had to leave out? Because I have several.
I was very close to go breakfast,
Uh-huh.
but I couldn't decide if I wanted to go bacon and eggs.
Yep, I had that one.
Or eggs and toast, because I love eggs and toast.
Yes, I think I agree. At this point in life, I agree with that.
I also considered chips and one of the many dips. I didn't know which one to go with, therefore I couldn't do that one, even though I really like it.
Yep.
And then one that holds a special place in my heart, because I love these boards, cheese and crackers.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love cheese and crackers.
That is a good one. Cheese can be comboed with so many other things. Let me do mine rapid fire here because I still have like 5 more. Wings and ranch, peanut butter and chocolate, fish and chips, pancakes and syrup, and I wouldn't be a real Canadian if I didn't say donuts and coffee.
Lots of good picks.
Yeah, that's your choice champions. Food duos draft. I win.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
I can't help but think we're responsible for this. I feel like we've accomplished something as a show. We led a movement against Wendy's. Because you remember earlier this week, we talked about how their CEO, Kirk Tanner, talked about instituting a test of the viability of surge pricing, aka dynamic pricing, demand pricing, or time-based pricing. The test of the viability never reached the store stage at all because we, as a people, led by us here on the Riot, we were one of the first to talk about it, shot the idea down because it was so dumb. And now Wendy's says they're not going to do it.
They're calling off the dogs. They lasted 72 hours.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. It took them 2 days to realize this might be the worst idea in fast food history.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, could there have been anything Wendy's could have done that would have gotten people this upset? Instantly dropping your ratings as a company, just suggesting this. Even considering it makes you look greedy, and there's no reason for it. We discussed earlier, there's a reason for Uber to do surge pricing, and we may not like it, but at least that kind of makes sense. There's not a single reason that there's any necessity to this for Wendy's.
Because they were essentially going to charge more money for busier times. Like a junior bacon cheeseburger, if it was $2,
Yeah.
at lunchtime when the line's backed up, it would be $4 for no reason. But it would never go down, only up when it's busy. Do we need to make an example of Wendy's because this is such a stupid idea? And we don't want any other fast food restaurants thinking they can do such silly things, being so greedy. Do we need to push Wendy's into a tough place? Do we need to stop eating there for a while? Make an example of them? Or do we just forgive them?
Yeah, I think we do the opposite. I think we go to Wendy's more. Like we make a point to go to Wendy's now to say thank you for not instituting this idea.
Thank you for not doing the stupid thing you were considering.
Yeah.
I
To just
think,
show that if you keep doing what you're doing is fine, and you don't need to change it.
I think maybe we do this. We go to Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
We go through the drive-thru.
Mm-hmm.
I order maybe a biggie bag, $5, right? I get to the window and I say, there's nobody behind me. It's a ghost town here. Most I'm willing to pay is $1.
Yeah. I'm surge paying. This is my surge payment plan.
A little bit of dynamic pricing of my own.
Yeah.
I would like to offer you $2 for this meal.
Yeah.
If not, there's nobody coming.
Yeah, take it or leave it. $1. Say surge price. You think about this more too. Just think about how infuriating this would be, right? And why it actually makes negative sense to Wendy's to even think about this. Think about you're standing in line. It's busy. It's lunchtime. Maybe you're a little impatient. You're like, man, I wish I didn't have to wait in this line. But I mean, it's lunchtime and I'm hungry and Wendy's and the food looks good and it smells good in here. And you're looking at the menu board and you picked out what you want to order. And then, bloop, the price goes up by 50 cents. Are you not turning around and leaving? You just watched the price change in front of your very eyes because it's busy. How would you not leave? This would scare away customers in real time. People that have already chosen Wendy's to eat at. And they'd go, well, I'm not doing this. 50 cents more right in front of my very eyes? No, thank you.
And at lunchtime, obviously this would be at lunchtime and dinner time, the main two meal times. If you saw a line at Wendy's and a line at McDonald's, you're going to McDonald's. You know that the prices are going to be more at Wendy's. A competitor would have made a killing by dropping their prices precisely when Wendy's surges theirs.
Yeah.
And then advertising that. Say when Wendy's goes more, we go less. It's $1 off at lunch every day. And everybody would go there.
But you know what they would have done? You got to order in the app.
You got to order in the mobile app.
Order in the mobile app, and we're doing anti-surge pricing.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Hey, Isaiah, you got that Riot hotline ready?
877-2-RADIO-U.
Here's a question for everyone. You can text in. What's something on your anti-bucket list? We've all heard of a bucket list. Some stuff. Maybe stuff that's harder to do or stuff maybe I won't be able to do this over and over again, but I got to do it at least once before I die. What's on the anti-bucket list? The stuff that you've tried once and want to avoid for the rest of your life. 877-2-RADIO-U. Or it could be stuff, that maybe you haven't done, but you just know. Other people might do this. Not for me. Going to avoid it the rest of my life. 877-2-RADIO-U.
I've got some good answers for this.
Yeah?
Multiple.
Already?
Most things I've never even done. And I know I don't want to do them.
Okay.
The first one, I've talked about this one before.
Yeah.
Caving. No interest in it.
You don't want to go in a cave.
I'm not caving. And I'm talking about like the people that are in the tight spaces.
Yeah.
They're crawling. I've seen those videos on TikTok. Not an adventure I'm looking for.
You know what they call that?
What?
Spelunking.
Spelunking.
It's not even a cool name.
Don't want to do it.
Yeah. You're claustrophobic. I get it.
Next one, controversial. And I have nothing against people who have these. I'm not opposed to anyone getting these.
Yeah.
Not for me. Tattoos. Not going to get a tattoo.
That's a good one.
I'm not a tattoo guy. I don't mind if you have a tattoo. I don't even know if you have tattoos. You might have a bunch of them.
No. Yeah. All over my legs.
But yeah, I'm not a tattoo guy. I just know they wouldn't look good on me. Not for me.
That's a good one. I'm not even... Some people would say we're babies or whatever. I'm not afraid of the hurting. I just, I know that I'm not the type of person that's ever going to get a tattoo, and it's not the pain. It's just, I can't think of anything I want on my body for the rest of my life. I'm too wishy-washy, too waffly for something like that to make that kind of choice.
I think they're cool. I think they look good on other people. I think they look great. I think some gals, I think it looks really good on them. Not for me.
Yeah. Good choices.
Another one.
Oh, you got more.
Oh, I've got a million of them.
Yeah.
The last one I'll do.
For now.
Own a horse.
Should be easy to avoid.
This has been a little bit of a discussion.
Yeah.
With my gal E and I.
Oh, is it a debate?
Not even a debate. She brought it up the other day as if she knows that I'm highly against horses.
Uh-huh.
Not that I'm, yet again, you can own them.
Uh-huh.
Horses are cool. Riding horses cool. Me, not owning a horse. She had mentioned owning a horse at some point. What are you, crazy?
I don't know. If she mentioned it,
Not happening.
it sounds like you might own a horse one day.
It's a zero.
It's starting to seem to me
Mm-mm.
like you're going to have a horse at some point.
0% chance. That's on my anti-bucket list. Therefore, we'll never own. It's a no-go.
Yeah.
We can own. We have Jim.
Uh-huh.
He's like a little mini horse.
Yeah. He is like a Shetland pony. 8772 Radio U. We've already got some text coming in. What's on your anti-bucket list, stuff you want to avoid your entire life? 8772 Radio U. We've heard from Isaiah. I've got mine coming up next too, and we'll see what everyone else is saying.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
You may have a bunch of things on your bucket list that you want to make sure you do before you die. But what about the anti-bucket list? A bunch of stuff you want to avoid for the rest of your days. You don't want to even do it one more time for the rest of your life. Got some good texts coming in. Philip says, talking to my brother. He won't do it again.
Phil.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder if his brother's listening right now. Regina, doing Sudoku. My first 8th grade math teacher assigned us 3 of those to do on her first day and made her hate it. She's also anti-skydiving.
I love how she just tosses that in.
Yeah.
Sudoku for sure. Also, skydiving.
Yeah.
Completely different, but I like both answers. Both very
Sudoku
good.
is challenging. I can't say that I enjoy it.
My aunt loves Sudoku.
Yeah, some people, you know what's crazy to me is how you can have a whole book of Sudoku puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that makes any sense. Susanna says, haven't done it, but never want to go scuba diving.
That seems scary to me as well.
Well, you know, I have a thing about the ocean. So I like Tim. First of all, you mentioned caving. I said it's spelunking. Tim says it's not called spelunking. It's called caving if it's recreational. Only a speleologist goes spelunking.
That's a lot of spa.
Yeah.
So we're not spelunking.
Yeah, I didn't know I had such a hole in my spelunking knowledge. Sounds like Tim might himself be a speleologist. But no, he's not, because he says his degree is in adventure education and his practicum was in caving.
Got it.
Do you know what a practicum is?
It sounds like maybe a focus,
Could be.
but I'm not sure. Another
Yeah.
word that we're not sure about.
Tim also says that for him, his choice is casinos and strip clubs. Everyone wants to go for a wedding party or et cetera, but not for him.
Tim doesn't like throwing away money. I
Yeah.
can't blame him.
Yeah, that's actually it's a good answer. Becca, eating fish eyes or adding them to soup broth, period. I want to learn how to make fish broth, but can't do the eyes.
We're leaving the. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's I think that's understandable. Kelly, going to Disney World. Did it once, that was enough. Too expensive.
She's out.
Yeah, I like that. Nate, running a marathon. One time only for Nate. Never again. I don't think, you know what? I don't know if I'm actively avoiding that, but I don't think I'm ever going to run a marathon.
Bailey says she'll never go on a cruise. She's not a fan of the motion sickness, living in a petri dish of everyone's bacteria, and possibly commandeered by pirates. She's out on the cruise.
As if you didn't have enough reasons yet.
Exactly.
And it also could have pirates. If you're reaching for that excuse, you're never going.
You're never going.
Yeah, you're not going to do it. Stacy simply says childbirth.
Somebody was going to say it.
Yeah, it makes sense. That similar to mine. I've never experienced this. I don't know if I guess it's
Childbirth, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say divorce. Never experienced it.
That's a good one.
Don't want to go through it. Yeah.
That's not always your choice, brother.
Yeah, that's right. I'm probably heading that way. Hayden says backflipping into a pool. Apparently, she did that once and hit her head. Didn't actually cause a big injury, but it was stupid. So never again.
Not worth the risk.
Yeah.
You have any good ones?
You know what? Most of mine actually have been covered. Yeah. Divorce, tattoos, childbirth. Yeah, that's about it for me.
Other ones I had, lending money. You don't want to lend money.
You're gonna try to go through the rest of your life without lending money.
Without lending money to somebody I know. Like if you ask me,
Yeah.
Isaiah, could you lend me like $3,000?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard a story of somebody lending money and it ending well?
Mm.
Not usually.
Well, it wouldn't be a story.
They wouldn't tell you the story.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm trying to avoid that at all costs.
Hey, I have a trick, an easy way to avoid lending money your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Be poor.
Perfect. I'm already 2 steps ahead of it. And lending money, I'm out.
Carl says getting ear tubes put in without being put under. Or Carrie, I'm sorry, because she also said I've given birth and the ear tubes were worse than giving birth. You don't hear many people say that about anything.
That's why you're not supposed to go under the water in a hot tub.
Because of the ear tubes.
You're going to get your ears messed up.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Now listen to this guy, Tyler Loudon. He's 42 years old, and he is going through it right now. He is facing up to 5 years in jail, a fine of $250,000. His wife just divorced him, and he has to forfeit $1.7 million.
That's a lot going wrong at once.
Yeah, it doesn't sound much. It couldn't get much worse than that, right?
That's the lowest of lows.
He's lost it all. And the reason he lost it all, listen to this. Because he just pleaded guilty to securities fraud. He had made that $1.7 million in the stock market, but he made it. It wasn't exactly above board. He was able to make $1.7 million because his wife was the mergers and acquisitions manager for BP.
Heard of him?
She was working from home because of COVID, and so was he. And so he was eavesdropping on her calls, those important calls and Zoom meetings she was having, strategizing all those mergers and acquisitions, and then using that insider info that he shouldn't have been privileged to trade on the stock market. And he made $1.7 million. But now he's admitted to his fraudulent way of going about things, and it's costing him dearly.
Tyler. Many mistakes were made here, clearly.
Yeah.
The whole insider trading thing.
Uh-huh.
Your wife up there at BP,
Yeah.
putting her job at the line.
Mm.
And you have to wonder, too, for him to have made $1.7 million,
Yeah.
think of all the investments he would have had to make, all the money he would have had to have moving that he was trading.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think in his mind? Don't you think when you come to your wife and you're like, hey, we now have $2 million,
Uh-huh.
don't you think she's going to question that?
She has to, right? I mean, he probably would just say, yeah, I've just been doing really well with the stocks. The Robinhood app is popping off for me. What
Because
can I say?
She clearly knows that she can't trade because she's so high up in BP.
Uh-huh.
You can't mess around with that stuff.
Yeah.
And so for her own husband to do that, putting her job at risk,
Yeah.
the divorce makes sense.
Fortunately for her, she's been cleared of any wrongdoing. So she's still...
How did she do? How did
she's
she clear
completely
that?
in the clear. Because she wouldn't do anything wrong. She was just having meetings. It had to be from home, which is the other layer of this.
Sneaky.
Is what a huge blow that is dealt to working from home. This is not doing us any favors for those of us that want to be able to work from home. That you think about a significant other or any roommate eavesdropping on what you're doing and using it in nefarious ways.
Especially if you're married. Like
Yeah.
Tyler, you're married.
Yeah.
Clearly, the companies are going to look at who's investing. Like if it's she's like the chief CEO or she's some
Yeah.
high up in BP.
Uh-huh.
Like you just know that you're going to be targeted. You're her husband.
Yeah.
Clearly, you can't trade BP.
And she's high up at BP. That's not enough for you? Whatever money she's making from that? And clearly this guy, if he was smart enough to be able to pull off this for a while, this is probably a pretty sharp individual as well. And you're putting it towards this. I don't know. He probably thought for a long time he was
getting away with it.
Yeah, he was like, they'll never catch me for this. I'm brilliant. Such an ingenious plan he had, but it did come back to bite him. And now he couldn't be more down bad. He's got no wife, no money, going to jail.
Yeah, even if you were trading just like a little bit.
Yeah.
If you were making like maybe like $1,000 for like a little weekend trip, 1.7 million, you thought they wouldn't notice?
Yeah.
You thought that was just a low-key number? Silly.
You know how it goes, though. You make 1,000, you're like, they're not going to notice what I make. They haven't noticed 1,000, I can notice 2,000.
What about 5,000?
What about 100,000?
Oh, 500,000.
Yeah. When will they know?
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.